What is up, you guys? Welcome to the collective, where we have the best conversations about video games in the internet. My name is Furman, and in this video we're going to be ranking the Legend of Zelda video games. Yes, that's right, we're doing a ranking video. Now I know you guys might be thinking, why are you doing what every other YouTuber that does video games does? And honestly, I actually kind of love ranked videos. I love to see like people's perspectives on like what they think is the best games and whether they like it or not. And honestly, I think giving my take on it would be pretty interesting. So before we get started, like, share, subscribe, you know, all the usual stuff, and then comment. Let me know what you think is the best Zelda game of all time, or if my ranking is pretty good. Alright, now that we have that fixed and out of the way, we are actually going to rank these games. So right here, as you guys can see, we have the original Legend of Zelda. And I mean, this game is a really good game. I'm going to put this game under great. Now, I will give it a great for this reason and this reason alone. It is the original game, so it's the very first Zelda that's ever been released. And because of that, I mean, it is basically GOAT status for some people, but for me it's not. It's always been kind of a confusing game to play just because of the fact that I didn't have it complete in box. And if you guys didn't know, it actually comes with a map that helps you traverse the game. So, and a lot of people didn't have that, so for that reason alone I can't put it in awesome or God tier, but that's just me. It is a really good game though. I have played it a couple times, and you know, I'm gonna actually have to beat it one of these days, but for now, haven't exactly beat it. And yeah. Okay, I'm having some mouth issues. Sorry about that. And then after that, we have Zelda 2. I'm gonna put this one in great also because of what it like established. Like, not only did we get Shadow Link, we got a bunch of really good tracks in this game that are still being used in Zelda games. And on top of that, it chose to be different. Like, it was okay with being different and trying something new. And so, you know, like, I gotta commend it for that. It's not the greatest game in the world, but at least it tried to be different. And you know, you gotta give it kudos, you gotta give it hats off for that. Alright guys, so moving right along, we are going to the Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I mean, this game is God tier. I mean, you can't even, there is no debate about this game. This is an absolute God tier game. This game did so much right. I mean, just the fact the colors were amazing. Pink Link is quite possibly one of the best Links in all of Link history, honestly. I mean, it just did so much right. And you know what, funny story, I actually had back then in the 90s, I had a bad Zelda cart. So we would get up until the part where we got the 3 stones, we got the Master Sword, and when we beat Ganon and got thrown into the Dark World or whatever. Well, not Ganon, the wizard. And then after that, it would just erase our file. And I love this game so much that I would literally do that all the time. Literally get to that point over and over again. And it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I finally got to beat the game. And I mean, it's just such a good game. Like, everything they did about it is so good. I mean, what's not to like about it? Now next we are going with Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Now this one is kind of tricky, and I know a lot of people might not like the fact that I give it this rating, but you know what, whatever. I think it's a great game. I think it is a really good game. I mean, first off, we have a Zelda game that's a full-fledged Zelda game that's on the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, which is, you know, the DX version. And we also have the Switch version too, which is Link's Awakening, and that is also a really good game. The only reason why I don't put it on awesome though is because of the fact that, you know, playing it on the Game Boy or Game Boy Color can be time consuming. Like, the time that it takes from switching from area to area does take a little while, so that kind of sucks. But other than that, this is a really good game, and it's got a solid storyline, and the DX version just looks straight up gorgeous. I mean, and not just that too, the Switch version looks gorgeous too. But the only thing that sucks about that is that the Switch version is supposed to be 60 frames, but it chugs very, very often. Very often. So that kind of sucks. Alright, where are we going next? What do we have here? Alright, we have Oracle of Seasons and Ages. I mean, this game is just awesome. Actually, you know what? Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. I almost gave it God tier, but it's not a perfect game. You know, this is also a game that is Game Boy Color, and essentially they pretty much gave it the Pokemon take. You know, Pokemon Red and Blue. Capcom did this with the Zelda games, and this game is so brilliantly made. They're not the same game. It's not like Pokemon where you get Pokemon Red and Blue and it's pretty much the same game. The only difference is that you have a couple of different Pokemon that you can't really catch in one version versus the other one. These are two separate games, and you know, if you beat Ages, you know, you get a code for Seasons, which I think that's the way you're supposed to play it. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't beat these yet, but if you do one, you get a code for the other, and then, you know, you beat that game and then you get like the true ending. I mean, the fact that they only tried this one time is just such a shame, because these games are so good and they look so amazing on this. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen some of my TikTok videos and all that where I play it on this thing, and just breathtaking. All right, moving on. Let's see what is next. Oh, actually we have The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Where would I put this game? Nah, I'm playing. This game is God tier. This game is God tier. This game is God tier Zelda. Matter of fact, let me fix that. This game is number one for so many reasons. It's like the perfect storm of Zelda games. It came out at the right time. It made the 3G jump. How do you follow up A Link to the Past, which is already an insanely good game? They decided to do their jump to 3D, and it was flawlessly executed. This game is so good, down to the characters, down to Link, down to all of the innovations that it did. The storyline, the plot. I mean, this game is just perfect. It even has some collectibles for people that like collecting things. I'm not a big fan, but I did finally do it. When it came out for the Nintendo Switch Online, I 100%ed that Ocarina of Time. So I did actually do it. You got to get all the gold skulls. But this game does so much, and it is just like, it set the precedent for Zelda games. I mean, if you're a Zelda fan and you haven't played this game, I'd actually argue whether you're a Zelda fan or not, because this is how good this game is. Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this game for hours and hours, but you know, we got to keep going with it. So let's move on. All right, what do we have next? Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask. A lot of people might not like this rating, but I'm gonna give it a good. This game did a lot of good things. For one, you know, Link has his own little, you know, freeform jumping. He's almost like a parkour guy, which is really cool. Majora's Mask essentially reworked a lot of characters from Ocarina of Time, but made them interesting and dark. And I actually enjoyed that fact. If it was just a storyline, I would probably give this game a great or an awesome. But because of the fact that the controls kind of suck, it's hard to give it anything higher than that. And you know, this is just me, but I was never a big fan of the 3-day cycle. Towards the beginning of the game, it's okay, but you know, towards the end of it, like the last half of it, it can get kind of stressful, and it's just a pain in the butt. And I didn't enjoy the majority of that. And I'm also talking about the 3DS version too. We're not just talking about Zelda Majora's Mask on the Nintendo 64. The 3DS is a really good port. The game looks gorgeous. but one thing: the Sora mask. They just completely screwed that up. It is just destroyed. Like, the way you swim in it makes no sense. And I had the most difficult time ever beating that boss, the water temple boss or whatever. That sucked. I'm just glad I finally beat the game. So I got that over with. We're good to go on that. So yes, now we are going to the GameCube era, I believe. It's Wind Waker. This game is God tier. This game is God tier. I was never a fan of that video that they showed in Spaceland 2000. You know what I'm talking about. That little video where it shows Link and Ganon fighting and they're adults, and Link throws his shield down and like slices or whatever. I thought that was mad corny. I thought that was corny back then, and I think it's corny now. So I was never a fan of that. And I was also not 100% committed to the whole, I want an adult Link. We need an adult Link. Like, that wasn't my thing. And mind you, you have Link to the Past. You have Ocarina of Time. You have these great games that establish such a great storyline. So I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. And when Wind Waker came out, I thought it looked a little funny. I'm not going to lie. I thought it looked a little bit weird. But it didn't disappoint. Wind Waker has one of the best storylines in all of Zelda. It's just a great story where Link, he just wants to save his little sister, and all of this craziness happens, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're the chosen one, by the way, and that pirate girl that you're with, she's Zelda. So yeah, I just think it's a great game, and the facial expressions that they gave Link in this game are so good. It's not even funny. He's a silent character, so for him to be extremely expressive in his face just opens him up more. It just makes you relate to him more. So they absolutely killed it with this. And if you disagree, I don't know what to say. But yeah, let's keep it going. What do we have next? We have Four Swords Adventures. I mean, this game is going God tier. It's A Link to the Past. It's portable, and it brings an extra game, Four Swords, which is the first Four Swords. I mean, what more could you ask for? It's a great game. It's an excellent port. Yeah. Then after that, we have Minish Cap, which is, I haven't beat this game, but it's awesome. I mean, it's just a great game. And on top of that, like, it took the Wind Waker look of Link, which I was already a big fan of, and then, give it a twist. It gave it a good twist. The animations in this game are flawlessly done. Just the way Link moves is insane, and they just absolutely killed it with this. The story is actually pretty good. It's a little Four Swords-esque, so like, I'm not a big fan of the fact that they kind of double dipped on that aspect, but the story is pretty solid from what I've heard. Yeah, more on that when I beat it, but obviously the game is just a great game, so yeah. Alright, and then we have Four Swords Adventures. I'm gonna give this game a great. Great because it's great party fun. It was actually a really good game, which was actually pretty fun. It's like solving puzzles. It's not awesome though, because I don't know why they did this, but for some reason you needed everyone, like all 4 players needed or at least 3 of them, I believe. They needed to have a Game Boy Advance and then have it plugged into the GameCube. Which is cool in theory, but like, not everyone I knew had that. So like, I didn't have anybody to play this game with other than my brother, pretty much. So that kind of sucked. So I'm not a big fan of like when they do weird gimmicky stuff like that. I'm not crazy about it. So yeah. All right, now we have we are going to the DS era now. So we have Phantom Hourglass. Phantom Hourglass is a great game. Solid story. The game is actually kind of butt ugly though, so that sucks. and also gimmicky controllers. Since it was the DS, they were like, we gotta make a Zelda that's like you use the stylus. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that stuff. Just give me a great story, great adventure, and you know, that's good enough for me. I don't need anything else. Just that. I don't need to use a stylus to, you know, throw a boomerang around. Yeah, it's cool, but beating the whole game like that, yeah. And then there is Spirit Tracks. I own this game, but I have not played this game. And from what I've heard, it's actually really good. So I'm gonna give it a good. No knocking to it, but it just from what I've seen, it actually looks pretty cool. Like, I like the whole being on the train thing. The music is great. You know, obviously they have some of that in Super Smash Bros. So obviously great. And yeah, there's that. Moving on to the Wii. The Wii, we have The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Do I even need to, must I say anything about this game? Matter of fact, let me change it up. That's how I would rate those. That's how good they are. This game is exactly what everyone was wanting. They wanted a dark Link. They wanted him to be edgy. And you know what? He is. It's everything you ever asked for. And he is so cool in this game. Like the little sword sheath trick that he does where he, you know, does that thing. Super cool. Like, just, this is a great game. It's not just a good game though. It's a fun game. Despite the fact that it was on Wii. It was actually on Wii. So we had the little motion nonsense. It was an excellent game. I mean, through and through. And then they make it better on the Wii U. It's in HD. It's widescreen. I mean, come on. What more could you ask for? I only need to say one more thing. Midna's Lament. If you don't know what that song is, look it up on YouTube. Thank me later. Alright guys, so we are moving on and we have another Wii game. We have The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. This game is an awesome game trapped behind gimmicky Wii nonsense. So, great game, good storyline. It's supposed to be the origins of the Master Sword, which is really cool. I've always wondered what that was, and they brought that. And on top of that, they gave you a special edition which brings a gold Wii remote. Sick. However, way too gimmicky. Like, they said, hey, we need more people using the Wii Motion Plus that we built into the Wii remote. And honestly, I think it kind of ruins the game. But we did get a HD release, so that is awesome. I'm really glad that we got that, because that game desperately needed it. So now it's actually playable on the Switch. Now it's not, it doesn't want to make you go crazy and blow your brains or whatever. Yeah, so I think it's a great game. Now we are moving on to the Wii U, and we have Hyrule Warriors. This game is awesome. I mean, it is hack and slash Zelda. It's got Zelda characters. It's got great Zelda remix music. It's you versus 9 million people. What more could you ask for? I mean, it's a good game. It's a great game. And on top of that, we got a sequel-ish game, which is Zelda Calamity of something. I don't remember what it's called, but it's on the Switch, and it is basically taking the structure of Breath of the Wild, which is a little bit of a story, a little backstory of Breath of the Wild, and then making its own game. And it's really good. It's not as good as this one, just because there's a lot of frame rate drop issues, which sucks, but yeah. Good game though. So that's where I would put it. Now we have the remake that everyone wanted. This game is God tier. This game is so good. It is so good that I almost want to put it above A Link to the Past. But A Link Between Worlds is just a great game. It came out at the perfect timing as usual. And it came out with this sick 3DS. I mean, look at that. I don't know why I've got it all dirty. Look at that though. That's sick. and it's got the pyramid, or the Triforce, sorry, representing Hyrule and Lorule. Pretty cool, right? So this game is really good. If people tell you that it's not good, they are psychos, because that don't make sense at all to me. This game is so good. It's almost like a sequel, but not really. It's really its own thing, and you know, like they just did a really good job. And I really like the fact that, you know, the merchant, the guy that's selling you, is like your wimpy version, like your Lorule version of Link, which is cool. He doesn't reveal himself until like a little bit later towards the game, but I just thought it was a great game. And honestly, if you haven't played this game, I definitely would highly recommend you play it. Then we have this guy right here. What's it called? Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. This game, unfortunately, is a bad game. I have to give it a bad. I'm not gonna give it a void. Honestly, I think it's a pretty cheap game to get. And if you have somebody, like if you have 3 friends that have a 3DS, this might be a great game for you to play. It doesn't work very well, which sucks. The internet kind of sucks, and honestly, they're about to shut it down too, so I think you're going to be stuck with only being able to play locally. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, like honestly, this could have been a good game. If it didn't have any flaws, this would be an excellent game. But because of the fact that it has so many flaws, it's just, I can't put it any higher than that. Yeah, that sucks. And now we have Breath of the Wild. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. God tier. God tier. God tier. Let's move it up a little bit. Let's move it up a little bit, though. I think that's better. I think that's better. This game did so much right. I still have a little bit of nitpicking, but it does so much right in this game that I almost don't even care about it. This game is like a 90% for me. My issues with Breath of the Wild is that this game, it incentivizes you to do everything, to look through the whole world of Hyrule and max out your armor, like get the best armor, the best weapons, everything. It does, like, it wants you to do that. And then at the end of the game, you fight Ganon, and he is like extremely weakened. Like when you beat all 4 of the, you know, the structures that move around, they shoot at Ganon and they take away half his life. So the game is basically easy mode. I'm telling you guys, this is on hard mode. This is a normal mode. This is hard mode on the game. And he gets shot at and you basically annihilate him. You use your strongest weapons, maxed out everything, and then you eat something that has 3 times strength power up and you decimate him. And that sucks. Because the whole game was just so much fun. I mean, Hyrule just has never looked more beautiful. Like essentially everything that you do in the game is fun except for the last part. So unfortunate. The storyline is amazing. The characters are amazing, even though they're like half dead, which kind of sucks. But like, I mean, Urbosa is just, she's the best. But yeah, like they put together this amazing game and then just ended it in the worst way possible. So that sucks. And I really hope that when Tears of the Kingdom comes out, they rectify that and they don't just give us a throwaway boss that you kill because you're already OP. I hope they give us a challenge. And honestly, I hope I die a couple times, or 5 or 10 times. Like, I don't just want it to be Ganon is just like the king that has destroyed the whole world, and then you flick him with a rubber band and he's dead. So I'm hoping that's not the case. And yeah. Alright guys, if you guys stuck around to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys like my rating. I think it's a pretty good one. And yeah, like, let me know what you guys think about it. If you guys agree with my rating for these Zelda games, then let me know. Alright guys, thank you guys so much. And as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all of that good stuff. and we will see you on the next video. Peace. Oh, watch another video too.